Welcome to Admiralty Entertainment. I'm Scott, and today we are taking a quick look at the Star Wars Black Series Hera Syndulla, as seen in Star Wars Rebels. Now, this is a figure which is coming out on Force Friday 2, which is September the 1st, 2017. I was lucky enough to find one in the stores where clearly they had not understood the embargo or had otherwise forgotten about it or didn't know what they're doing or whatever. The point is, I legally bought it. It is mine. Yay! And I hope you guys get a chance to be able to take a look at this and decide whether you want to add her to your collection as well. So Hera was supposed to be released earlier on. She was supposed to be in the wave which had Lando and Qui-Gon Jinn and the Royal Guard and the Sand Person. She was held back apparently because they were having some problems with her. I don't know if it was the likeness or engineering or something like that, but they weren't happy, so they held her back, and she is in the first wave of Star Wars Black Series to be released on Force Friday in 2017 in honour of the Last Jedi's merchandise starting to sell. The first wave of Black Series figures being released is going to be Hera here, Jedi Master Luke, and Jedi Training Rey that we've seen previously as San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is also a Comic-Con exclusive but with a bunch more accessories, Darth Vader, who I believe is just a repack of the 40th anniversary one, a Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren in his new outfit, and I think that's the whole lot. So as you can see, Hera still comes in that same red and black and grey packaging they've developed. I thought they were going to take the opportunity of the new movie to possibly change up the colour scheme, but hey, it's working for them, so that's cool. We still have that nice grayscale portrait of her over there, again done in a realistic style as opposed to completely echoing how she looks in Rebels itself, but that's cool, looks good. Hera comes with a nice little blaster pistol, which you can see clearly in the tray. The rest of the packaging also retains the same style that it has previously. Hera is number 42.
42! 42?!
And you can see there's nothing else on the side of the box. The opposite side has got Hera and Hera Syndulla in red there. That's nice. The box is a little bit beat up, but that's okay. I'm an opener anyway. The back of the box is again on that same format as we've seen with the most Black Series. There's a number, again that bigger grayscale portrait. There's a bio there in multi-languages. You can have a brief read of that and go ahead. And just a lot of legalese down the bottom here, as usual. And here we have her free of her packaging, free as any rebel wants to be. And yeah, initial impressions are this is a cool looking figure. It's a very nice face sculpt there. I think it looks very pretty. It's a good combination of what the character looks like in the cartoon series, translating to that more realistic style that we've seen with Kanan and Sabine and Ahsoka. So yeah, that's going to look nice standing with those guys, or indeed with any of your other Black Series figures. I think she looks really good. There's some nice subtle paint shadings doing the designs on her Leku there. Don't know how well it's coming out on camera. It looks a little grey on camera here, but they are much more sort of browny orange actually on the figure itself. So we do have the light suit pants with the webbing gear there, looking very sort of X-Wing pilotish, as she does. Looks good. She's got that sort of armor type thing just on her chest and torso and the shoulders, and some sort of flight suit underneath it. Oh, looks pretty good to me. Looks very on model, translated slightly of course, but looking good. There are a few extra paint details, such as here on her wrists, and the sort of, not quite belt buckle, but on the flight suit pants as it were. So you can see that on her right ankle she does have a holster for that little pistol that she comes with, and as you can see, comes out pretty easily. Doesn't wiggle around in there too much, so I don't think it's going to pop out when you don't want it to, and it slides in really, really nicely. I'm a big fan of the functioning holster, so it's good to see that you've got that.
You played that perfectly. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I deserve.
Hera comes with this very small little pistol, which is quite cool. It is uniquely sculpted on both sides. It's not just the one sculpt flipped, so each side is marginally different. But you will notice that there is both silver and bronze paint on there. Very nice that we do get two colours of accents on there rather than just one. Not too detailed, but certainly enough for what we'd expect in the Black Series. Articulation wise, her head is on a ball joint, and there is a hinge at the neck. You don't really get too much up and down motion out of it because of the leku here, of course. That stops her from being able to look up too much and looking down. The collar sort of blocks that articulation as well. The head articulation is really pretty hindered by the leku, the head tails here, in that it's really hard to get anything past the shoulders because they are quite rigid plastic. They don't swivel or anything like that. So if you want to move her head over to one side, you're going to have to force it past those shoulder guards there. But yeah, they also are quite heavy, so it will limit the ability for the figure to stand a little bit. So you do have to balance her just a little bit better. Thankfully the ankles are pretty good.
You know, you can be pretty frustrating too.
Shoulder articulation is pretty standard for a Black Series. They can go up about that far, fairly nicely down by the side there. And of course, for rotation, you do have a little bit of a block with the shoulder pads here in terms of how far they can rotate going up, but that's okay. It's nothing outside with the normal limits of the articulation for a Twi'lek in the first place would be, I would imagine. There's a single bend at the elbow and swivel, so standard for a Black Series figure. And on the right hand here, we do have the swivel, of course, and also the in and out hinge with a gripping style hand here, which the pistol can fit into, and it holds okay. It's the left hand though which has the up and down hinge on it, and has the trigger finger molded there. So it really looks like she's more intended to have her pistol in her left hand, which is okay. I mean, it certainly looks better with the trigger finger, and it does sit in there okay, but the hand is perhaps a little bit wide. It's not the greatest grip in the world, but it is also interesting that it would be her left hand which is the trigger finger, when her right ankle has the holster, so she'd be reaching crossbody to be able to pull that out into this particular hand. But again, it looks pretty cool, and it serves its function of holding that pistol nice and tightly. Close enough anyway.
Kanan, we have a small situation here. If you care to blast one of those ties out of the galaxy, I don't think anyone would object.
You do also have articulation at the torso. It's somewhat blocked again by this flight suit piece, but I mean it's Hera. You're not really going to get that much in terms of wacky action poses anyway. But it moves nice and freely. It's a decent joint, and you can get some side to side and pivoting back sort of motion there. For leg articulation, you've got a fairly good range of movement on the hips alone. You can get them right the way up into a sort of semi-seated position there. They are blocked on the back by the sculpted butt. A swivel at the top of the thigh there on both sides. These webbings don't really seem to hinder the articulation too much, which is really cool. You do have double jointed knees, which is nice to see. There's no articulation at the top of the boot cut. The ankle joints are of course rockers, which is really cool. We do have a decent amount of motion on there. Goes back about that far, goes up about that far, and it's nice and smooth. It's not too tight. Hopefully it won't get too weak with further use or anything like that. It's probably about as far as I'd like it to be in terms of the flexibility. If you lose a little bit of the strength there, then she could have some issues standing up, but as it is, it's pretty good. For scale comparison, here she is standing next to a Black Series Kanan Jarrus. Yeah, look pretty good to me. Not hugely dissimilar in scale to what they appear to be in the cartoon, from what I can recall. And yeah, the main thing is they look really good together. They look compatible, they look like they'll be okay with other Black Series figures. And here we have Hera along with Sabine and Ahsoka, so all your Rebels ladies, they look really good standing next to each other. So that's our look at the Star Wars Black Series Hera Syndulla figure. Great figure, love it. Whatever engineering problems they had, which delayed it from previous waves, certainly seem to have been resolved. My figure was really cool. The joints were nice and movable without being too tight, not being too soft, although they feel like they could possibly get a bit softer over time, which could cause some issues. That head sculpt, due to the Leku and their weight, can kind of cause some problems with getting her to balance properly. There's sufficient articulation to be able to keep her standing most of the time, unsupported anyway, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue unless you want to put her into a sort of action pose. Hera certainly makes another solid addition to the Star Wars Black Series. It's great to see another member of the Ghost crew there. Fingers crossed we'll get to see Zeb and Ezra and Chopper. Maybe even an Agent Callus, preferably as an Imperial gear. I don't know, it's up to Disney. But yeah, it's a good figure. Definitely get them if you can see Hera here on Force Friday or thereafter. You won't regret it, and certainly if you're a Rebels fan, she's a core member of the team. You need to have her. So thanks for watching. Make sure that you subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever you want to, and we'll see you next time with some more toy chats here on Admiralty Entertainment.